Jacksonville, Florida, a sprawling city of sun, sand, and secrets. Known as the River City, it's a place where the St. Johns River flows wide and deep, mirroring the hidden depths of its history. Behind the facade of beaches and bustling urban life, Jacksonville harbors a darker side, a history etched with tales of true crime that continue to haunt its streets. This isn't just about sensationalized stories, it's about real lives tragically cut short. It's about families forever changed by loss and the relentless pursuit of justice. These are the stories of Jacksonville's dark secrets. From unsolved disappearances that have haunted generations to shocking murders that grip the nation, Jacksonville has seen its share of darkness. We'll delve into 3 chilling cases, each a chilling snapshot of a different decade, revealing the evolution of crime in this sun-drenched city. Join me as we journey into the heart of Jacksonville's true crime history. We'll explore the cases, the victims, and the impact on the community. Get ready, because some secrets are not meant to stay buried. 1969, a year that would be remembered for its triumphs and its tragedies, for the moments that brought people together and the mysteries that would tear them apart. The year of Woodstock, the moon landing, and a growing unease across America. While the world watched Neil Armstrong take his first steps on the moon, and music lovers flocked to upstate New York, a sense of uncertainty crept into the everyday lives of ordinary people. In the midst of celebration, shadows lingered. In Jacksonville, Florida, a different kind of history was unfolding, one shrouded in mystery and heartbreak. The city, with its sun-drenched streets and bustling neighborhoods, was about to become the backdrop for a story that would haunt its residents for generations. It began on a sweltering July day when 19-year-old Linda Jean Heppenstall vanished without a trace. The heat pressed down on the city, making the air thick and heavy, as if foreshadowing the weight of the days to come. Linda, a newlywed with her whole life ahead of her, had gone to buy groceries at a local supermarket. She was described as bright, kind, and full of dreams for the future. That afternoon she left her home with a shopping list and a promise to return soon. She never returned. Her car, a blue Plymouth Valiant, was found abandoned in the store parking lot, her purse still inside. But Linda was gone. There were no signs of a struggle, no witnesses who could recall anything unusual. It was as if she had simply vanished into thin air, leaving behind only questions and heartache. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and still, no sign of Linda. The city buzzed with rumors and speculation, but the truth remained elusive. Each passing day brought more uncertainty, and the hope of finding her alive began to fade. The police investigation hit dead end after dead end. Detectives canvassed the area, interviewed witnesses, and followed every lead, but nothing seemed to bring them closer to the truth. Theories swirled. Had she run off? Had she chosen to leave her life behind, or was she taken against her will? Was she the victim of a random encounter gone wrong? Some whispered about strangers lurking in the shadows, while others wondered if someone she knew was responsible. The fear that gripped the community was palpable, and parents began to look over their shoulders, holding their children a little closer. Or was there something more sinister at play? The city's underbelly, usually hidden from view, seemed to pulse with secrets. The possibility of a predator on the loose sent chills through Jacksonville's quiet neighborhoods. The lack of answers only deepened the mystery. Each new theory led to more questions, and the case files grew thicker with every passing week. The detectives, haunted by their inability to solve the case, kept Linda's photo pinned to their boards, a constant reminder of the work left unfinished. Linda's family clung to hope, but as time passed, that hope dwindled. Her parents, siblings, and husband searched for answers, refusing to believe she could simply disappear. They posted flyers, pleaded for information, and waited by the phone for news that never came. The whispers started, tales of a young woman vanishing into thin air, swallowed whole by the vast Florida swamps that surrounded the city. The landscape itself became a character in the story, its dense foliage and murky waters hiding secrets that may never be uncovered. Linda's case, like so many others, went cold. The files were boxed up and stored away, but the pain of her absence lingered in the hearts of those who loved her. The unanswered questions became a burden that the community carried for years. Years turned into decades, and the memory of the smiling young woman faded into a ghost story, a cautionary tale whispered by parents to their children. Her disappearance became part of Jacksonville's folklore, a chilling reminder that even in the brightest places, darkness can take hold. But for those who knew and loved Linda, the questions lingered. Every birthday, every anniversary, every family gathering was marked by her absence. The ache of not knowing what happened never truly faded. What happened that day in 1969? Where did Linda go? Was she lost to the wilds of Florida, or did someone take her away from the life she was just beginning to build? The swamp held its secrets close, and Linda's disappearance remained an unsolved tragedy, a haunting reminder of the darkness lurking beneath Jacksonville's sunny facade. Decades later, her story endures, a mystery that refuses to be forgotten, and a call for answers that still echoes through the city's streets. The year was 1990. Jacksonville, Florida, was a city in transition, its streets humming with the energy of a new decade. The world was changing fast, and so was this southern city, where old traditions met the promise and uncertainty of the future. The Gulf War was brewing overseas, casting a shadow of anxiety across the nation. MC Hammer's "You Can't Touch This" blared from radios, offering a catchy escape from the headlines. But in the heart of Jacksonville, a different kind of fear was taking hold. A wave of terror that would soon grip the community of Gypsy Hill and leave it forever changed. This wasn't a storm of wind and rain, but a human hurricane of violence that swept through the quiet streets. The sense of safety that once defined Gypsy Hill was shattered, replaced by a chilling uncertainty. Neighbors who once greeted each other with smiles now locked their doors and peered nervously through their windows, wondering if the next victim might be someone they knew, or even themselves. Over the course of 6 harrowing weeks, the bodies of 5 women were discovered, each one a resident of the same modest trailer park. The victims ranged in age and background, but all shared the same fate: lives cut short in a place they called home. The trailer park, once a haven for working families and retirees, became a landscape of fear and suspicion. Each victim had been brutally murdered, their bodies left in various states of disarray. The brutality of the crimes shocked even seasoned detectives who struggled to make sense of the violence. The killer left few clues, and the randomness of the attacks made it nearly impossible to predict where he might strike next. Panic gripped Gypsy Hill. Parents kept their children indoors, and the playgrounds fell silent. Rumors swirled about the identity of the killer. Was it a stranger or someone from within their own community? The sense of trust that once bound neighbors together began to unravel, replaced by suspicion and fear. As fear escalated, so did the pressure on the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. The community demanded answers, and the police worked around the clock, combing through evidence and interviewing anyone who might have seen or heard something unusual. The weight of expectation was immense, and every day without an arrest brought new waves of anxiety. The investigation became a race against time, a desperate search for a killer hiding in plain sight. Detectives followed up on every lead, no matter how small, and forensic teams scoured the crime scenes for any trace of the perpetrator. The sense of urgency was palpable. Every moment counted, and the safety of the community hung in the balance. The city held its breath, waiting for answers. Night after night, the streets of Gypsy Hill grew quieter, as residents retreated behind locked doors. The fear was almost tangible, a heavy presence that settled over the neighborhood and refused to lift. Finally, a break in the case. A tip from a vigilant resident led investigators to 32-year-old Danny Harold Rolling, a drifter with a troubled past and a history of violence. Rolling had drifted into Jacksonville just weeks before the killings began, and his presence in the area had gone largely unnoticed. Until now. Evidence soon linked him to the Gypsy Hill crime scenes. Fingerprints, fibers, and witness statements all pointed to Rolling as the man responsible. His arrest brought a wave of relief to the terrified community, but also a lingering sense of disbelief. How could one man have caused so much pain and gone undetected for so long? Rolling's trial was a media spectacle, his crimes splashed across newspapers nationwide. Reporters from across the country descended on Jacksonville, eager to cover every twist and turn of the case. The courtroom was packed with journalists, family members of the victims, and curious onlookers, all seeking answers to the same haunting question: why? He was convicted on all counts and sentenced to death. The verdict brought a measure of justice, but for many, it could never erase the trauma of those 6 weeks of terror. The families of the victims faced a long road to healing, their lives forever altered by the violence that had shattered their community. The reign of terror was over, but the scars of the Gypsy Hill killings ran deep. For the people of Jacksonville, the memory of those dark days remained a stark reminder of the vulnerability of innocence and the chilling reality that evil can lurk even in the most unassuming of places. The story of Gypsy Hill endures, a cautionary tale of fear, resilience, and the enduring quest for justice. The year 1998 was a time of rapid change and new beginnings. The world was on the brink of a digital revolution, with the rise of Google transforming how people would search for information forever. In homes across America, families were logging onto the internet for the very first time, unaware of how much their lives were about to change. Pop culture was thriving, with the release of the first Pokémon movie captivating children and adults alike. Movie theaters buzzed with excitement and the world seemed full of possibility and innocence. But beneath the surface of this hopeful era, a heart-wrenching tragedy was about to unfold in Jacksonville, Florida. At University Medical Center, a place usually filled with the sounds of new life and celebration, a nightmare began that would haunt the city for decades. 8 hours old, baby Kamiyah Mobley was taken from her mother's arms, vanishing without a trace. For Shanara Mobley, a young mother just starting her journey into parenthood, the birth of Kamiyah was a moment of pure joy. She had dreamed of holding her daughter, of watching her grow, and of building a future together. But that dream was shattered in an instant, leaving a void that would echo for years to come. The unimaginable happened when a woman, dressed in a nurse's uniform and exuding calm authority, entered Shanara's hospital room. She seemed trustworthy, blending in seamlessly with the hospital staff. The woman claimed that Kamiyah needed a routine checkup. Trusting the hospital and its staff, Shanara handed over her precious newborn, never suspecting that this would be the last time she would see her baby for nearly 2 decades. The news of Kamiyah's abduction spread rapidly, sending shockwaves through the hospital, the city, and soon, the entire nation. Television screens flashed with urgent updates and missing child posters appeared on every street corner. The community was gripped by fear and disbelief. Law enforcement agencies mobilized immediately. The FBI was called in and a massive search effort began, stretching far beyond Jacksonville. Volunteers combed neighborhoods and search parties scoured every possible lead, desperate to bring Kamiyah home. The case captured the hearts of people across the country. Parents everywhere hugged their children a little tighter, feeling Shanara's pain as their own. Candlelight vigils were held, and prayers were offered for Kamiyah's safe return. Every new tip brought a glimmer of hope. Detectives worked around the clock, following up on every lead, no matter how small. The community refused to give up, holding on to hope even as days turned into weeks. But as time passed, hope began to fade. The case grew cold, and the once bustling search efforts slowed. For Shanara, the pain of not knowing was a constant ache, a wound that never healed. Years slipped by, marked by birthdays missed and milestones lost. Yet through it all, Shanara never gave up. She kept Kamiyah's memory alive, sharing her story with anyone who would listen, and holding on to the belief that her daughter was out there somewhere, waiting to be found. Then, nearly 19 years later, a miracle happened. In 2017, a tip led investigators to a small town in South Carolina, where a young woman named Alexis Manigo had grown up, unaware of her true identity. The investigation gained momentum, and hope was rekindled. DNA testing confirmed the impossible. Alexis was Kamiyah Mobley. The woman who had raised her, Gloria Williams, had stolen her from the hospital all those years ago. The truth was both shocking and heartbreaking, unraveling a story of loss, love, and deception. The reunion between Shanara and Kamiyah was filled with overwhelming emotion. There was joy, relief, and gratitude, but also confusion and pain. The years apart could never be reclaimed, and the journey ahead would be complicated for everyone involved. Still, for Shanara, having her daughter back was a dream come true. It was a moment she had prayed for every day, a testament to her unwavering love and determination. The story of Kamiyah Mobley is a powerful reminder of the strength of a mother's love and the enduring power of hope. Even in the darkest moments, hope can light the way home.